outcome. And our hypothesis is that STARS, these sustainability initiatives, all are assets that are brought into these support activities. Let me show you that in another fashion. Here's a matrix. Don't go to sleep yet. I promise only one confusing matrix. This is it. Or maybe it's the second one. Here's what we did. We asked people, okay, you've got the 4 value drivers of sustainability. How do they line up? So here's the STARS categories. And here are those support activities we talked about. So does co-curricular education have a lot of cost control in it when we apply those value drivers? Probably not a lot. It's not, co-curricular education not seen as a big cost saver. Is it good with community and stakeholder relations? You betcha. You betcha. Inclusion, transparency, nailed it. Marketing and branding, present. Inclusion, all of those things. So co-curricular education, intuitively you know, is good for community relations. And so when you sit down, I'm not going to go through all these, believe me, and you sit down and you start looking at them. Is transportation good for cost control? You betcha. If I'm not building a parking lot, I'm happy. If I'm not building a parking garage, I'm happier. If I'm converting valuable campus real estate to an academic building instead of a parking garage, I'm really happy. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing, is building academic buildings, not parking garages. We don't have campuses for cars, they're for people. Anyway, you get the point. We went through and made a matrix of this, and I recommend, frankly, that each campus look at doing this or some flavor of this themselves. So they fully understand the interplay between energy and cost control. That was a tough one. All right. But more discreetly, where do things like leadership and professional development come in? All right, well, diversity and affordability is actually good for leadership and professional development. Who knew? Well, Richard Florida knew. Actually, anybody who's ever read his stuff knows that more diverse environments are better for organizational morale, succession, and development. And HR, of course, is going to line up well into this. So you start to see the darker green areas. And what's that look like when you plot it? A surprise. We all knew that operational excellence was good for sustainability. What we didn't realize was how profoundly important it is for community and stakeholder relations, which is a major value driver of your campus. And on down the list, there's not really a lot of differences here. And of course, this is one campus and just a few people's opinions. Do it on your campus with your focus group people. First of all, they will learn a heck of a lot more about what's going on and be more supportive of it. And secondly, you'll get them bought into what you're trying to accomplish. All right. How does this all show up? Our model for how to do sustainability on campus is called total sustainability. It ends up being the sum product of these things. And if you're doing some or all of these things, you're going to get more of these guys into the middle. And so you see the value propositions. You see how they complement each other when you go through the previous slide and understand how sustainability works on your campus and how it underpins these broad campus outcomes. And if you can get a good amount of all of these elements brought and integrated into your campus, you will integrate. The bounty of understanding these broader campus support activities is you see what you need to integrate. It becomes a little more practical than just I need to integrate faculty and staff and operations and academics. That's too broad. You start screwing into specific categories, you can start integrating your sustainability activities much more profoundly. All right, it's time for some cheap shots and questions and so forth. What does all this mean? Understanding how sustainability adds value to your campus is really important, and don't be a prisoner of first costs. Don't be a prisoner of if you can't monetize it, it doesn't exist. You need to be able to converse with your colleagues and your leadership about all the different mechanisms by which sustainability is delivering value for your campus. doing that grows the choir. Instead of just this room of sustainability practitioners, the social progressives come on. Student affairs comes on the team. Operations comes on the team. You now have a much bigger suite of allies to draw from in trying to move forward when, because of STARS, you've now defined the waterfront to be everything from co-curricular and curriculum to diversity to all of these social benefits and so forth. It's not just the environmental studies department. It's not just the facilities engineering people. It's not just the students, but it's the breadth of the stakeholders on campus. And you can bring them together around this definition and around these sustainability value drivers. You're not going to get to phase 4 without this. There's no way to tear down the cultural and organizational barriers on a campus without an integrative system, something like this. Borrow from this, change it, come up with your own, but look for an integrative way to articulate how sustainability works. Instead of saying, okay, well, that's the sustainability manager's job. We got this guy hired, he's going to handle it. That's not going to get it done. STARS is the reason that we can do this. The value added from STARS is, first of all, understanding who you are and where your level of accomplishment is. Secondly, the next takeaway is, okay, what are we going to do about it? Your gap analysis that follows a STARS report. Third, it enables this integrative conversation, which we've never been able to have before with precision. It's been a pie in the sky. We need to integrate. We all talk about that. Well, how? What? How does it add value and where? I already said that. This is the huge thing. It's not an afterthought, the social dimensions of sustainability. If you don't remember anything else from today's talk, that's it. Sustainability has got to be about putting people first. We are prisoners of our environmental past, and sustainability is seen as the environmental studies department. It's seen as energy or food. It's not seen as something we do to help people. And if we can premise sustainability about delivering social benefits, we'll have a lot more traction, because there's a lot of people that need more social benefits, more social impacts, more social positive outcomes. And likewise, this sort of approach doesn't require that you start in the beginning and do everything in a linear fashion. That symbolic circle with the various elements of sustainability around it is a digital approach to sustainability, and that's what we need, because we all have varying degrees of all of those things on our campus at any one time. And it's not like you have to go from 1 to 2 to 3. We need to be able to digitally access all of those assets and bring them together with an integrative framework. STARS enables you to do that. Understanding the value proposition enables you to articulate that. And identifying those broad campus support activities brings together those players. And those are the 3 elements of the soup we need to boil to make broth. We said this in the beginning. This is not going anywhere. I'm not sure campus leadership has fully got this memo yet. Ours has, of course. And I'm sure yours has. But the other 4,000 campuses out there, not so much. And part of being able to make this case and point to the successes in the corporate world and other campuses enables leadership to get this memo, that this is a major thing that they need to do something about. The approach we've outlined quantifies it and gives you a pathway and a model. You don't have to make this thing up. And to paraphrase Dan Esty, this is the future. Those who embrace this can flourish, and those who don't are going to be passed by. That's our challenge. We're educators. We're supposed to be smart enough to do this. Future Shock was right about some things and wrong about some things. I believe that Toffler nailed this one. Everything in my lifetime has been thrown out and we start over, and everything's upside down, and what used to be black is white. And if you're not comfortable with that, you're in a tough place because things are happening fast. So thank you very much for your kind attention. I'm happy to take some questions, comments, and cheap shots.